Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of October. I hope you are well. I'm using the Crow Tarot for you today. So let's have a look and see what's going on with you. 3 cards for Sagittarius, please. Thank you. 3 of Wands is in your recent past. Current energy, please. For Sagittarius, we have the 2 of Cups. Very nice. I like that. And what's coming towards Sagittarius, please, for October? Whoa, we have 2 cards. We have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, and we also have the 8 of Cups. Interesting. Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and already there's a sense of I was kind of side-eyeing that 3 of Wands there, because in the Crow Tarot we've got this, interesting setup, right? But the thing that really caught my eye was the star up in the corner. The 3 of Wands is often about actions that we take. It's about the movements, the directions that we go off in. But I'm looking at that star, and the Crow, in fact, is also looking at that star. And it seems to be more that what we've got going on is a repositioning. I think that's probably the best way to put it. There's a repositioning, and I think because it's Wands, we're talking about time frames more than anything else. I'll get to what that means in a second. I just want to get some clarifiers out before we go any further. Also stops me repeating myself once I've got the clarifiers out. Just get these little waft under here. So tell me about this 3 of Wands, please. We've got the 7 of Swords and we've got the Wheel of Fortune. Tell me about the 2 of Cups. Thank you. We have the 3 of Swords. Oh, this is interesting. We have a load of cards. We've got the 3 of Swords, we've got Death, we've got the Page of Swords, and we've got the Mother of Cups, which is the Queen of Cups in a standard deck. That's a whole heap of cards there. We're going to leave them where they are. Tell me about the Hierophant and the 8 of Cups, please. Thank you. We have the 10 of Wands in reverse. We have the Justice card, and we have the 7 of Cups too. We have the 6 of Wands at the bottom of the deck there, and again, I'm going to stick with my initial feelings about this because it seems to have been borne out by the clarifying cards that we've got going on here. And that is that there's a repositioning going on. Now, that 3 of Wands, like I said, it's usually about the here and now and what we're doing in the here and now to take us closer to that which we want to manifest for ourselves. But this crow's eye is on that star over there. And whilst that still kind of fits with the meaning that we've got, it does feel like there's a repositioning of time frames. So something that perhaps you had planned for 3-4 years hence, it seems to be being brought closer to you now, and the question is, how quick do you want to go, Sagittarius, and how much of a risk are you willing to take to get yourself where you need to be? Because I say that because we have the 7 of Swords and we have this Wheel of Fortune here. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is often associated with fortunes improving, and I think that that's very much on your mind, whether it's material or whether it's perhaps spiritual or emotional. Taking yourself away from, we'll say, what is established, and we'll come back to that certainly before the end of the reading, and towards something that contains much more potential for you than where you currently are. 7 of Swords. Fuck. Yeah. I mean, there's the Fool. Exactly right. I, in fact, used the exact word potential. And rightly so, because what's going on here isn't just about what you want to do with your life for the rest of it, right? And we've got the King of Swords sitting at the bottom of the deck here, right? Decision making and whatnot. It is about how you expand the potential that you feel to me that you are now starting to tap into. Now, for however that's happening, whether that is happening because you are, you know, in study, or whether you've been doing a lot of shadow work and working with yourself, or whether you are looking at the environment that you're in and seeing that there is no growth here for you, right? There's no real movement. Because what you're planning to do involves quite the risk, quite the jump for you. Now, you know, Sagittarius, Aquarius, you are the signs of taking a leap into the unknown. It's that rebellious streak. It's like, well, do I go there where it's all boring, or do I go somewhere where, you know, I have no idea what's going to happen, but like I'm into it. I feel like Sagittarius and Aquarius are those two signs that are willing to do that, to take a leap. But there's something here, and I'm looking at this whole body of water that's sitting between you and the star there. There's something here that involves a big emotional leap for you. And it could be that it involves leaving something behind. But it feels like it's one of those situations where, you know, the tools for growth are in the thing that challenge you. So what is it that challenges you? It could be committing to people, a group of people, a person, and working together with them to go do something, right? There's an element of risk involved there for Sagittarius. Because it's not just about the thing that you're doing, it's about the way that you're willing to throw yourself into it. You know, the Fool, he's just about to take a step off a cliff, and we don't know if there's a 5-foot drop or whether he's going to plummet to his death, right? It's almost like a Schrodinger's cat of possibilities right here, because the potential is both, neither, one or the other. It's a leap into the unknown, and it feels like it's on a scale that you have not been involved with before, and you're very much at the forefront of this, because we've got this King of Swords here. You do seem to me to be thinking very, very clearly about where you go next, and more importantly, why you have to go that way. It might be difficult to articulate the feelings that are associated with it, but there's that reach for the potential, the reaching for the star, that will not have you staying still. It will not have you where you are. And so what you're working out now, like I said, is how quickly you make the jump. Because I think time frames have accelerated, they're speeding up for you. And something that, like I said, might have been 3, 4, 5 years hence, it's like, nah, this actually needs to turn around very, very quickly. Now, when we get to your present energy, we've got some interesting stuff going on, because we've got the 2 of Cups, but it's then clarified by the 3 of Swords, the Death card, the Page of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. Now, as signs, what we've got there is Scorpio and Cancer. So, yeah, if you're dealing with either of those, then all's the good. But they're speaking specifically to water, to emotions, and we've got it highlighted here underneath the 2 of Cups. Now, for you, I feel like this 2 of Cups is a very strong positioning, and it doesn't matter whether you are in a relationship, you know, with a significant other, be it boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, whatever, or whether this is a business partner or somebody that you're working with here at this point, because what we've got here are 2 people who are on the same page. Like I said, it could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a business partner, but there's a sense of you being on the same page as someone else and working towards the same things. And we've got the 3 of Swords and the Death card underneath. The Death card is looking at the 3 of Swords, and in that way it seems to be acting as a negative modifier to the meaning of the 3 of Swords, and we know what that is, right? It's that very visceral heartbreak. It is pain. But if you have a negative modifier, then what it's doing is saying, not this. This is coming to an end. This doesn't factor into your decision-making process any further. Got the 9 of Wands and the King of Cups. Interesting. It's more Scorpio energy, by the way. how anymore for that? No, I don't think so. I think that's it. So, 9 of Wands, King of Cups. I think the reason why this indicates or signifies such a big leap for you is not because of what it is that you are trying to pull off, but it's the fact that you're doing it with someone else. There's trust there, there's faith there, there's good boundaries there for sure, but there's an understanding that things are going to get hard in the not too distant future. I've spoken to some other signs about this, right? And if you've got your eyes open, right, eyes to see and ears to hear and all that sort of thing, then, you know, no doubt you'll have at least some indication of what it is that I'm talking about. But it isn't hard because of internal wounding of you. It isn't hard because you're with somebody who triggers you. It isn't hard because you're trying to heal from past hurts. It's just hard, and it's going to be hard for everyone. What I like about this is that so I would show you the cards, but actually in this deck they're quite explicit. There's a lot of nudity, and I just found myself completely distracted for just a second. There's a willingness to approach what is hard almost head on for you at this point. But the fact that it is not coming from a place of internal wounding, it is not coming from a place of being in the wrong relationship or, you know, stuck with people who don't understand, is huge for you. And this King of Cups is this emotional maturation that we're seeing coming through for you so strongly, Sagittarius. Instead of going from a place of real pain and needing to heal your way up to this point of neutrality, here you are at the point of neutrality in the middle and ready to expand, ready to explore, ready to take on whatever the world might have to wang in your face, as it were, with the knowledge that it is going to be difficult. But at the same time, you have everything that you need. You know, you're showing up as incredibly emotionally stable at this point. And in today's world, that is quite the claim, to be able to be emotionally stable. Most people who are walking around are considerably less stable than they think they are. Not so you, Sagittarius. Like, it's almost like you're ready to fight. Does that mean physically, necessarily? But you're ready to put up with what comes next, even if it is hard. Because the emotional balance is there. And because you see things that you never used to be able to see before. I'm looking at this Page of Swords and this Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is actually pointing at the Page of Swords as they're sitting here on my table, right? So we've both got the masculine and feminine expressions of emotional energy, right? Passive, receptive, and also active, you know, how it is given. And those two things are sitting in perfect alignment. But there is a lot that is being informed about your internal emotional experience by new information that is coming to light. What about this new information? Tell me about this Page of Wands. Right, so we've got another page. I feel like your horizons are expanding, Sagittarius. That's it. That's what we've got. We've got the Page of Wands with the Page of Swords. Now, like I said, you are kind of the emblem of the adventurous spirit, right? The Sagittarius doing its thing. Always ready for adventure, always ready to explore something new. But it is accompanied by what appears to be a very shrewd mind. Like, you're paying attention to the details of stuff. And this is in a wider sense than just within relationships and just within your emotional stability and whatnot. And all this information that you've got has seen you come up with a plan. I've just noticed we've got the Ace of Wands at the bottom of the deck here. There's some sort of new start that you've got planned for yourself, Sag. You know, the Ace of Wands is about living differently, the opportunity to live differently. So you could be moving, you could be completely uprooting yourself from where you are and going somewhere else, you know. Yeah, I'll save that around for for the extended. You could be changing the way that you work. You could be changing what it is that you do for work. You could be changing, you know, how much you work. Do you need to work full time? Well, we all need money, but is there a better use of your energy? Possibly. But you feel lit up with a sense of purpose here. And I really like the fact that the Two of Cups has come up first, because it means there's at least one other person who is on the same page as you, and more than that, they are working towards the same thing that you are. They too are not coming from a place of wounding, but more this sense of initiatory kind of tapping in of potential and what it is that you can grow from there. This is huge. So when we come to what October has in store for you, we have the Hierophant and we have the Eight of Cups. And there isn't really any other way of putting this, Sagittarius, but you're putting yourself squarely on the outside. And you're doing it consciously. You're doing it very deliberately. You know, the Hierophant is Taurus energy, but it's also that sense of the rigid and the inflexible, right? And so we can see it talking about religious institutions, but we can also see it talking about marriage, right? The institution of marriage, or society and societal expectations, right? The rules of conduct that we must all abide by. In some ways, it is the social contract, right? Like you know, and none of us sign this social contract, right? It's something that we agree to tacitly. We're brought up to believe in it, and that's why we're not going to go around murdering everyone just because we get cross, because that's not cool, you know. And you know, there's a certain amount of collectivism and there's a certain amount of individualism, and we kind of abide roughly by those rules, more or less. It feels like society, it feels like structure, and it feels like exactly the sort of thing that is crumbling down here. Now, you are not the first sign that I have had in this round of readings that has had an indication that things are wobbling, right? If you've been paying attention for the last 2 years, you know that the whole fucking thing is about ready to come down. But in terms of, certainly in this case here, the church indicating this state of safety. The combination of these two cards together with the Eight of Cups sees you very willingly, very consciously, and very deliberately putting yourself outside of that, because where there is safety, there is also control. And I think that there's a very pure part of you that wants absolutely no part of it. Now, this could be something to do with work, and it could be, you know, new rules that are coming in at work about the way that you're conducting yourself. It could be, for some of you, that you've come out of a marriage, you know, you've been separated, you've met someone else, everything's awesome, and now it's time to initiate the divorce proceedings, right? That's actually quite a strong indication for some of you, because we've got the Hierophant and the Justice card appearing there together. But I feel like it's bigger than that. I feel like it's not just about getting yourself out of these kind of social contracts that we put ourselves into, or financial. Frankly, marriage is financial contract and not much else. It's being willing to put yourself on the fringe, to put yourself on the edge, so that you are not in any way participating in society, a society that is sick and toxic. And what we've got underneath here is Ten of Wands with the Justice card and the Seven of Cups. I find quite interesting, because the Ten of Wands in its upright is a card of burden. Right? It's a card of things being too hard. But whatever plans it is that you are starting to put in place, what it is that you're thinking about, and what it looks like you're working with someone else to kind of bring around, is kind of pulling yourself out of the way before the Ten of Wands has an opportunity to affect you directly. We've got the Nine of Wands down there. We've got this sense that you're very ready for things to be hard, individually hard. But there's a collective sense here, right? We don't want it to be hard for everyone. So there's a lot of hard work that's got to go in now, but this is a whole Sagittarius. We've got a bit of delayed gratification going on here. Well, that would explain the emotional maturation. It's not all about the now, although your time frame has sped up dramatically. It's about knowing that what you're putting into what you're trying to build here now is going to pay huge dividends off in the future. Tell me about this Ten of Wands, please. Thank you. We've got the Justice card, and literally the next card with it is the Justice card. Consequences. Like, you can see where a particular situation is going, and you'll have to take this as it resonates to you, because for some of you, you'll be looking at society as a whole. For others of you, like I said, it will be a marriage or some sort of, partnership, something that you have been attached to for a long time that is now time for you to walk away from. For the most part, I think it is a bigger, wider view than just a marriage or a job contract or whatever. But this Justice card here screams consequences. It screams karma, actually, too. But it talks about the juice not being worth the squeeze, as some people would put it. It talks about balance, and it talks about equilibrium and all those kind of things, the things that we like. But staying put in whatever sense that applies to you is too hard. It's not worth the consequences of it. Better that some hard work goes in now and in the near future too. And then the Ten of Wands as an energy is averted. It's almost like you skip from the 9 straight to the Ace of Wands, Tell me about these 2 Justice cards. Tell me about these. My dudes, we've got the King of Wands has come out here. That's it. It's how odd. It's a 1 card at a time. It's quite distracting. This is the real King of Wands. I'll just let you have a look at that for a second. Yes, quite explicit. Yeah. Now the King of Wands is likely you here. I mean, it's strictly Leo, but it's likely you, Sagittarius. We've got the Wheel of fucking Fortune at the bottom of the deck. The Wheel of Fortune is a Sagittarius card. The wheel is turning, which means that time is also, as it does, plodding on. But this sense that time is running short, or at least time frames are contracting, is very, very strong with you. Taking action is something that comes naturally to a Sagittarius. It should do to all fire signs, right? The point at which you get all up in your heads is usually because you're not doing something about something. You're just thinking about it. But this is doing the right thing. It's very clearly doing the right thing. The right thing for you. The consequences that you are willing to bear and the ones that you are not, and what you can do to maneuver between the two. The last card that we've got here is the 7 of Cups, and I don't think that those 7 cups belong to you at all, Sagittarius, because your main card is the 8 of Cups. The 7 of Cups talks about illusion, sometimes talks about confusion, and maybe you've been in that state for a little while now, but the 8 of Cups is indicative of a move away from that, and almost leaving it for other people. It's like your way forwards is clear now. It's a matter of how you actually logistically get this up and moving. If everybody else is going to sit around in a 7 of Cups and go, why is Sagittarius doing that? That's weird. That's down to them, and that's not your concern. I don't feel like it feels in any way your concern. But all of these feelings, all of these hints about starting again are coming in really, really thick and fast. We've got the Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. There is a lot that is going to need to be learned in a very, very short space of time by you. But you're up for the challenge. You can do that. But we've also got the Six of Wands. Six of Wands, King of Wands, Justice. You know, all of these things coming up together, all of these energies coming up together, even the Wheel of Fortune and Death, right? Whatever you're working on, and whatever time scale you've put on achieving what it is that you're working on, if you haven't already contracted that timeline, then I think it's time to do so. And certainly in the month of October, that will become increasingly clear. If you have already contracted that time frame, then what I would say to you, Sagittarius, is that there is more that you can do at this point. And I mean, I will get into this in the extended, so if you're interested, please do come over and have a look. But I feel like there are external pressures that are currently not seen and that will be coming to the surface during the month of October. And this seems to be the thing that is making you very decisive. You know, if you want to say, kind of swinging your dick around a little bit about how things are going to go, but it's necessary. It's important. And it could be that you've got a Libra involved in this somewhere. It could be a Taurus. It could certainly be a Leo or a Scorpio, Cancer, Aries. But the signs aren't really important. What is important is that you know your own mind, you know your own heart, and you can see, it seems to me, things that other people can't see at this point, and you must do something about that, right? Fire signs, you've always got to be doing. If you're sitting around and bitching about the state of the world or bitching about your relationships and then passively allowing all of this shit to wash over you, you are disempowering yourself. Fire signs need to get out and do something about it. They need to sort themselves out and have a plan and go for it. Well, you don't even need a plan sometimes. You just need to move, you know. And I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm hectoring you. I'm really, really not, because I see you wandering in this direction anyway. But I think that you need to accustom yourself very quickly to the idea that this is going to move faster than you thought it was. But there's no sense of you losing control over this, which I think is an awesome thing to see. So I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and pull October apart and see what is going on there. Although I think we've kind of got a good idea. So if you'd like to join me, link is in the description box. You could alternatively come and join the Patreon, such as it is, for as long as it is still Patreon, because I am moving to a different platform very, very soon. But I'm going to take everybody with me, hopefully, so that'll all be good. But if neither of those things appeal, again, absolutely fine, no judgment here. You've got to have the courage of your convictions, Sagittarius. If you take nothing away from this, have the courage of your convictions and act on them no matter what. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.